Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into round number 7 of the MotoOption Supercross series, presented by Race Tech Suspension. Yeah, that's right. I don't know where my mind went there for a second, but we are in Dallas, and now we are literally going into Dallas. Loading up the game right now, and I'm not in the server, so I'm going to have to change servers real quick. But welcome everybody to the 7th round of the series, heading east for the first time. Well, it's really not heading east the first time this year because we've already been in Houston. But within the 250 class, we are heading east. This is the first East Coast round of the series. And this is going to be a good one. Back in the football stadium, obviously in AT&T Stadium, technically in Texas. And lots of long rhythm lanes this week, lots of 180s, lots of opportunities for passes. It's going to be a good one tonight, and we're going to see this 250 East class for the first time. Bringing it hot. Showing us what's up in that class, and we'll talk a little bit more about who is in that class in a moment. But the biggest news of the night, kind of breaking news because it was only really released a couple hours ago, so some of you watching may not know this. We are not going to have Tyson Fresquez on the line tonight. That is going to be our VersusPC pre-race report. Tyson Fresquez was suspended for round 7 of the series after an incident last week at round 6 in San Diego, where he was forced off the track in turn 1, and regulation rules pretty much say you're not supposed to jump back in right with the main pack after you get shoved off the track, and he tried to do that. I'd imagine if he rode out of it, he would have been fine, but he got back on the track in front of the field, crashed, and caused a fairly large pileup. James Armstrong and Jesse Mullins both protested him and got him suspended for round 7. I believe someone also protested your current points leader, Alexis Leclerc. If they didn't, I think someone should have, but he got a warning for aggressive riding, but he also cut the first corner of the race last week, kind of more or less causing that whole fiasco with Fresquez and the big pileup in the first corner. So we're going to have to keep an eye on Leclerc tonight. He is under... He's sort of on probation, if you will, where if he makes a couple more mistakes, he could also face a suspension, a 1-round suspension. So, unfortunate news about Fresquez, but the rest of the field is still giving chase to Leclerc. And Fresquez, honestly speaking, was already kind of out of that battle. Fresquez entering the night 10th in points, I believe, so he was already pretty far back on Leclerc. It's really up to these guys that have been kind of right behind Leclerc, the Colton Mitchells, the Jesse Mullins, now James Armstrong kind of creeping up in there to make a difference in this championship moving forward. And we're going to keep an eye on that in the 450 class tonight. But first, I'll talk about the 250 class before we jump into this consolation race, which may or may not be happening. I didn't check the server scripts. Yeah, 250 East, first race of the year, and kind of a shocker in my opinion. At the top of the timesheets is 450 main event regular Jack Haley. We see him every week kind of pulling off to the side of the track in heat races and LCQs, letting people into the main event. Personally speaking, I didn't know why he was doing that. Now it makes sense. There is a rule in EMF prohibiting people inside of the top 15 in 450 points from dropping down into the East region, and I guess Haley's plan all along was to race East, so in order not to crest into that top 15 zone, he was forcing himself not to score enough points to get 15th in points. I think it's kind of crappy because that means that he's literally out there racing the 450 class for no reason, while someone else who could actually have a legitimate reason to be out there to try to score points could be racing, but it is what it is. But Haley is your top qualifier in the 250 East class tonight here at Dallas. 54.4 was his time, and he was only 0.02 of a second better than Holden Cote, who did a 54.49. So 54.46 for Haley, 54.49 for Cote. Those are two guys we've seen kind of regularly battling in the 450 class, so that's good to see them up there. Edward Mora, Chase DeSalle, and Connor Holiak, your reigning 250 East champion, was 5th fastest here. So we'll see those guys coming up in a moment, but first of all, we're going to get our consolation race underway. Anybody that's new to MotoOption Supercross here tonight, basically what is about to happen is, because everybody in this series pays to race, they feel that it is a little bit of a necessity to have anybody that qualifies outside of the top 40 in qualifying still have a shot to race this evening. So all these guys will not be racing in our official night program, but they are still going to hit the track here for a little bit. I think it's an 8-minute plus 1 lap race, and maybe put on a little bit of a show for you guys. But really just get their money's worth. Coming out here, riding a little bit, seeing what a road is like. We're going to see how a road develops on this track as the night goes on. And this race is currently being led by Cody Penwell. I'm being adamantly told it's Arlington in chat. I really could care less. Even when the stadium, Old Texas Stadium, used to be in Irving, Texas, I still called it Dallas, and most people still called it Dallas. Just like for some reason, East Rutherford, which is 45 minutes away from downtown New York and deep in New Jersey, is still usually called the New York Supercross. So it's basically the nearest large city. I think that's just what people are pretty used to. But I've been to this stadium. I've been to Texas Rangers Stadium, which is the ballpark in Arlington still. It might be something different now, but I've been to the stadiums. I know that they're in Arlington. I'm not an idiot. I just still call it Dallas, as do most people. So we have got Penwell leading. Matt Model is in second. Alex Cunningham is in the third spot. David Wright is in fourth. Gustavo Diniz, 125, ripping it up. Listen to this behemoth. Oh, loving the sound of a 125 going down the straightaway, although the MX Simulator sounds kind of suck. We got Jack Gatlin, Caden Speck, Bradley Schmidt. So again, none of these guys are going to be racing in heat races or anything tonight. This is really just kind of for show. I think it also more or less helps the EMF crew get their scripts all tidied up and ready to go for the night program. So this is maybe going to be the most boring time of the night because these guys, there's been a lot of discussion the last couple weeks about giving these guys the track time. Really doesn't make a whole lot of sense time-wise to do this because there's people that are racing in Europe or on the East Coast that it is already very late at night, and this only makes the program go later. Technically speaking, the program is shorter with no semis in it this year as opposed to last year, but it is still a little bit longer to do this whole 10-minute deal with this race. But yeah, coming up after this, we will have 250 East, heat number 1 and 2. Those guys will go for 6 minutes plus 1 lap. Top 9 transferring directly to the main event. All others headed to the last chance qualifiers. And then we followed it up with the same exact dealio for the 450 dudes. 6 minutes plus 1 lap heat races, top 9 transfer. All the rest go to the LCQs, which are coming up later on in the program, and it will be right after those heat races. It will jump into 250 LCQ. That is 4 minutes and a lap. 4 guys going to the main. The rest headed to the cheap seats. Sack up and get a hot dog. Maybe some popcorn because you're going to be watching the rest of the night show from the grandstands. Same for the 450 class. 4 minutes and a lap. 4 riders going to the main. The rest are out. And then 22 rider main events. 15 minutes and a lap in the 250 class. 20 minutes and a lap in the 450 class for round 7 here at Dallas, Texas. If it's not in Dallas, then let's change the name to the Arlington Cowboys and the Arlington Rangers. I guess they're the Texas Rangers. I'll give it to them. Yep, let's change them to the Arlington Cowboys. Have fun with that. All right, so Matt Model took the lead after Cody Penwell crashed on maybe the oddest spot of the track in the middle of a straightaway. The rest of these guys they've lost a lot of time. Gustavo Diniz has called it a night. Caden Speck is about to go a lap down. Jared Miranda is also about to go a lap down. Austin Bear, Alex Cunningham, and myself on the gate. Let's go on board with Matt Model here. He seems to be running consistent lap times. We'll get a good look at the track here tonight. Having to avoid some downed riders in the corner there. It's running 58, so he actually, with those times, would have been fairly close to qualifying. Let's see. The cutoff time in the 450 class actually was not even close. 56.5 was the cutoff time tonight. These guys only get an hour of qualifying, so it's really kind of a mad dash. And if you're not a good hot lapper in this game, you kind of lose out, honestly. So Model is just making the best of what his night has become, which is now a consolation race and an early dinner. But here you get a really good idea of this track tonight. It's a pretty unique design because there's a lot of kinks in the middle of the sections. In fact, there are legitimately 3 of the 6 straightaways that go up and down the stadium have little kinks in the middle of them. You can see on the track map, the whoop section on the bottom has a pretty noticeable kink because there's a big carrot jump in the middle of it. Right up here coming through this next rhythm section, we're on board with Matt Model here still. So he's going to triple to the outside. He might 3 on. Now he's going to double. So he goes 2, and then table over single, and then it kind of turns a little bit towards the right after this double, and then over the Supercross triple. And it also kinks in this upcoming straightaway too. So he's going to go up and over this dragon's back. Looks like he's going to go on off, and it kind of kinks a little bit to the left. So that's going to kind of develop more or less one line through each rhythm section because everyone's going to try to find that nice arc through the rhythm section. See, point taken. I just saw someone in Twitch chats say that what part of San Diego do I live in? And technically speaking, I do actually live in the city of San Diego. But I actually grew up in East County, San Diego, and I never once have mentioned what town I grew up in. I always say I just grew up in San Diego. It was not even San Diego City, but I grew up in San Diego. So Model's cruising. Penwell has lost a lot of time to him. Bradley Schmidt is kind of coming. Jack Gatlin, David Wright. There is absolutely not one battle on the track right now. What an absolute disaster. Model is cruising. He's going to hit, I think, yeah, he's going to hit the timer here. 8 minutes, top left-hand corner of the screen is now 8 minutes, so he should get white flag next time by, and we'll be through this consolation race. So Model is making this thing look easy, and the rest of the field is just playing catch-up. So we'll give him a little bit of the limelight because he's doing a pretty good job. His consistency is awesome, so it might be a little unfortunate we're not going to see him out there tonight because he probably would have had a pretty good shot with that consistency to at least try to have an opportunity to make it into the mains. Through the whoops one more time, and then into this really tricky kind of 3-foot, then 5-foot, 5-foot section. A lot of guys getting tripped up by that, but Matt Model, he's going to win your consolation race here tonight with ease. So wait for the rest of the guys to come on through. Penwell going to finish up in second. Does he get that 360 around? No. Bradley Schmidt coming down. He's going to get a third here. He's going to roll every single before the finish line and come across third. Jack Gatlin. David Wright has already finished in 5th. Jared Miranda. Good to see the LCQ Studios guys out here ripping it up. I know those guys have been working really hard lately on Motocross Chasing the Dream, another new simulation-based type game for the PC that should be coming out. There's talks of it coming out towards the end of this year, but I think it might be pushed back a little bit more. But keep up to dates on that. Follow LCQ Studios on Facebook, And I think they're on Twitter as well. And also it's, I believe, lcqstudios.com. They're doing a lot of good stuff, putting that game together, and it's really kind of cool to track their progress. Just another fun moto game coming out for us moto fans this year. But that is the Consolation Race now done. Again, won by Mr. Matt Model. And now it's time for the good stuff. 250 East, heat number 1. Going to be lining up here. We're going to have probably one of your championship contenders lining up, but really the door is wide open for who can win this series. So many different guys that maybe we didn't expect to line up tonight are lining up. Of course, your defending 250 East champion Connor Holiak is going to be on the gate out there tonight, but it really could be anybody's race, especially with someone like Jack Haley coming in and dropping down fastest qualifier. Kind of shakes things up a little bit. So my computer will continue to load. I have a brand spanking new fresh computer, and even still MX Simulator still takes a little time to load. So those of you that are watching maybe thinking I should get the game, I think you should try it. But be warned, it is very computer intensive. So if you don't have a really good gaming PC, you definitely won't be able to race competitively online comfortably, and you might struggle with some single player stuff too. Most of the time, I'm usually pretty good with single-player stuff. I need to disconnect and reconnect because I timed out. There we are. All right, so who do we got in this one? We've got Kyle Robb, and I don't even have his skins. That's awesome. Good to see those guys releasing their entire packs. We have Peter Like. We have Brett Powers, the one and only Donut MX out here tonight, ripping it up on the 140 machine, although he's number 199 in game. Ethan Parks, Derek Thorpe, Josh Betts, Dylan Gatlin, Noah Baker, Jack Zars, Daniel Batchlett, who just passed Peter Like there, somebody who can't latch onto them. Josh Hamilton, Clay Alfrey, Matt Burkeen on the number 8. Devin Davis on the 15, also in this one. We got a pretty good host of riders. I'm excited to see this one take place. Try to find someone more middle-ish of the gate that's going to get a good start. Daniel Batchlett gets good starts, but I'm going to focus in on the number 71 machine of Tyler Lang because there are a lot of good guys near him. But here we go. The first gate drop of the 250 East season is right here on SYS TV. The gate is down, and it is a land rush for these 250Fs into turn 1. The 8 of Matt Burkeen has a good jump, but it's actually going to be Haley on the 57 who squeaks to the inside, gets that hole shot. Someone on the 91 also in the mix right there. But Burkeen right behind Haley, and Haley is your early leader here in this 250 East heat number 1. Burkeen doing his usual patented front flips on the Supercross triple, and it helps whether he's up front that I'll actually be able to see those happen because sometimes I don't see him. As Chase Estelle goes down in the rhythm section, he takes the 23 of Rob with him. There's also another rider down in the background there, not sure who that is. A lot of guys going through, so we'll kind of sort that out as the race moves into first couple of laps here. But right now, these two guys are on a mission out front. They are already starting to pull away a little bit from Daniel Mills, who actually is on the 51, not the 91. So Mills has the 73 of Peter Like right behind him, and Like, the suspension wizard himself, had a good run in the whoops, but ended up having to check up. Peter Like, known for being able to understand the suspension of this game very, very well. Oh, he gets past, though. Devin Davis, inside move, gets the pass done. Now Davis is going to look for a move on Mills, but didn't want to jump in on him, so now it all checks up, and the 89 of Josh Hamilton squeaks through the middle. As Like was off the track, comes back on. Now we got almost 3 wide in the background. Hamilton comes up short. Davis is trying not to get into him, but ends up getting into him. Now Like gets stuck, and Clay Alfrey on the 82 was able to squeak by. Jared Grigo, Jack Zars, and look at Donut MX getting into the mix. Brett Powers, he's currently holding down the 10 spot. He's trying to catch Zars. Here he is. Got Dylan Gatlin and Kyle Robb right behind him. We are missing someone in this mix. That is Chase Desell, who on our timing sheets is not registering. Oh, there he is. Now he's coming through. So But Power is still trying to go to work here. Holding down that 10 spot. Has to get around Zars to make it in to the transfer positions, but still a lot of time left on the clock here, so anything could happen, really. We got a change going on up here. Jared Grigo must have just went down. And Powers gets around Zars, so he's into the final transfer spot. Now Zars is bringing DeSalle with him. DeSalle and Rob not too far behind that. Two of your faster riders in this series. We're going to be seeing a lot of them as the series moves on, and maybe even more tonight. Kyle Robb is your 2015 250 East Supercross champion. A little bummed I don't have his skins, but oh well. Zar's thinking of an inside move on Powers, and he's got it. But he's into the bales and down. So here comes DeSalle. DeSalle and Kyle Robb both right onto the back of Powers here, who is just hanging on for dear life to this last transfer spot. DeSalle has an inside move. Doesn't think of it yet. Now he's going it deep into the corner. Gives Powers a little nudge. Powers trying to hang on. Comes across, and DeSalle gets into him, goes down. And here comes Rob tripling by, so Rob goes into the last transfer spot. That is Noah Baker also coming through on the 259. Oh, Ryder's down. That is Hamilton. He is down with Grigo, so actually Powers, I believe, just went back into the final transfer spot. But he's still going to try to make the pass on Baker. Now Rob sliding down. Powers goes through. Devin Davis gets together with Kyle Robb, who is coming sideways across the track from his crash. Very, very bold from Rob. Be surprised if there isn't maybe a protest there from that re-entry there. Oh, Baker gets hung up in the Davlos bales and a bunch of guys going by. And Baker goes down. So Hughes goes through. DeSalle goes through. Is that Mattias Janis? No, it's Tyler Lang. And now Powers is down. Oh my goodness, all sorts of crashing going on. That's actually Dylan Gatlin on the 134. The old Jonathan Hughes number. Was a bit confused. Oh boy, so Grigo and now Gatlin is in the last transfer spot. Powers is the next one out, and he's got Tyler Lang on the 71 right behind him. These 250F guys really struggling with this track as DeSalle goes down again, and he took Devin Davis with him. Davis was trying to jump into the rhythm section there. Boy, oh boy. Chaos, 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 but it is still Powers trying to hang on to this last transfer spot. We had a change to the lead up front, by the way. Matt Burkeen has gone to the front on Haley. That's actually a good battle, but this one for the last transfer spot is also really good, as Lang has got a drive. Got the on-off a little wonky, though, but still is going to make the pass going into the corner in between the whoops. He's got to hang on to the next straightaway, and he does. Powers is setting back there a little bit. They're actually 10th and 11th. And that just changed because someone else was down for the finish. So again, now this is the battle for 9th and 10th. Right in front of them is Gatlin. And Hamilton getting back on the track. So just for a moment, we'll head back up front and see that this battle for the lead is still brewing. Burkeen took it from Haley. But Haley's not done fighting. He is going to try to fight back. And boy, oh boy, they are lapping Devin Davis. That is not a good start to his 250 East campaign for the number 15 machine. And Haley is riding really strong here tonight. Must have had a fall. That's what caused him to go back here. Burkeen front flips the finish line, hangs on to the race lead. We'll go on board with Haley here for a second as he tries to get around Burkeen. See these guys going 2-3-1 and then inside double, table over single. So way different than what we'll see out of these 450 guys in that section. Dually front flips. I saw Burkeen do it right in front of him. And Haley does it as well. That is awesome. These guys having a good time out front and not causing any harm to other riders by doing that. You can see the road also wearing down in the corner a little bit. Haley driving in pretty deep into this corner here. See if he has a line that he likes here on Burkeen through the whoops. These guys are not on the last lap just yet. But they're coming to it right now. Now Haley squares them up. Tries to get a good line on this little tire tap section. And dually front flips. This is sick. These guys are having a sick battle. And Haley takes the lead. That was awesome. So Haley gets it. They're lapping DeSalle. Burkeen must have gone down. Yes, he did. D Mills 5th. or 4th. Like is 5th. Lang 6th. Rob 7th. Betts now 7th. Rob 8th. Now Grigo 8th. And Powers 9th. So Rob outside looking in. Derek Thorpe wants to get in, though. Wants to get in on some of this action with Brett Powers, who's still holding down that last transfer spot. He's been right on the bubble this whole race. So will Powers try to go forward here, or will Thorpe maybe get to him? Almost contact between him and Grigo. I'm going to head back up front just real quick as Haley is coming to the line. He's going to go down. So it's either going to be Haley or Burkeen. We know that who are winning, but let's go back to this battle, which is chaotic. Grigo, Powers, and Thorpe, all three on your screen right here. Powers getting passed by Grigo, who sent it. And now Powers goes backwards. He's 10th. He's got to get around Thorpe as it's Haley taking the win. Rob is coming in. It is Thorpe on the last spot, and Powers gets hung up. Rob is in the mix. Powers and Rob are both going to get through as Grigo and Thorpe went down. Now Powers making a mistake. Grigo might have a run in the whoops. Powers is just trying to hold it together here. Rob is ahead of these guys in 8th. Here comes Grigo down the inside. Sends it in. Block pass. Got it done. Does he get to the line? No, he goes over the bars, and Brett Powers is going to the main event in Dallas. Holy moly. Baker is outside looking in, as is Thorpe, Gatlin, Hamilton. Grigo's got to be fuming. Oh, he had the pass made and then completely muffed the section before the line. Holy moly. That was awesome. Parks, Zars, DeSalle, Hockey, Batchlet, Davis out of this one. Davis is going to have last gate pick in the LCQ. That is no good. And Powers hangs on after cuts. Oh my goodness, that was an awesome battle for that last transfer spot. And Powers able to hang on. I know that's going to make the Donut MX fans out there thrilled to see him making it into the main event. And I'm just happy we got a good race. That was a good one. Woo! All right. So if you're not already thrilled to be watching MotoOption Supercross, I sure hope that race did it for you. And now we're going to have more and more fun times going on into the night as 250 East Heat number 2 is coming up next. Man, oh man. In fact, excuse me for just 1 second. All right, I beg your pardon there. 250 East Heat number 2 coming up, and on the track right now is their parade lap. We've got Garrett Hollenbeck, Billy Kunitz, Dylan Copeland, Garrett Oliver, Phil Bull, Harry White, Holden Coate, Edward Mora, Josh Williams, Jake Fisher, Joey Carter, your defending champion Connor Holiak, Braden Carter, Maxime Tassone, Craig Richards, Adrian Wilson, Logan Heagney, and I know Jeremy Hinders is in here somewhere, but I must have missed him. Anyway, it is time to go racing. 250 Heat number 2 is on the gate, and we are about set to go. I'm going to try to find someone middle of the gate. How about Silic here on the 66? It is time to drop that gate for 250 East Heat number 2. The revs are up, and the gate is down here in Dallas. And a good start, actually, from Hinders on the 14, but Holiak sweeping in, and it's Tassone on the 250 two-stroke from the outside that gets it. Your race organizer and host, MXS EMF Vice President, gets the whole shot. Edward Mora, Holden Coate, Craig Richards getting hung up in the corner there with someone on the TM Factory Racing Machine, and here is your points leader, Holiak. A couple guys missing the triple in front of him, so he's going to make up a little bit of time. Got to say that Evergood setup with that number 1 plate is looking awful clean. Loving the setup. He's trying to run down his teammate Edward Mora. Holden Coate is in the 2 spot, your second fastest qualifier. But it's Tassone leading this thing on the 2-stroke. Sending it. How about Coate up the inside? Good block pass. And he's got it. So Mora on the 26 also trying to come through, but Tassone hangs on for the time being. And we seem to have lost your point, or your defending champion in the whoops. He's gone down and is going backwards. Oh, we have a crash. That was Mora down, and Tassone had to check up there. Not sure what happened. So Oliver goes through, as does Williams. It's an ever good brigade in this one, although Oliver's on MV Films, but so many ever good riders in this one. So here's Mora, Oliver, then Holiak, defending champ, Billy Kunitz. Oh, wow, man. That was Silic on the 66 throwing it down the inside of Kunitz. And he went deep into the corner. I apologize, I still have the janky stock wheels. And now Silic gets hung up in the corner and he goes down. That was Copeland going by, I think Jeff Fisher on the 117 maybe. And Hollenbeck and the 40 of Phil Bull all going on by there. Actually, Adrian Wilson on the 171. I was thinking that was 117 that went by. And Wilson is in your last transfer spot. Ooh. Copeland down after the whoops, hangs up Mora. That's going to allow Hollenbeck, Bull, Silic. And here comes Hinters, and someone just got up. That was Kunitz getting up sideways and got T-boned and literally is going to dead last. That is the whole field going on by. That's Jake Fisher right there. It's talking about Jeff Fisher, though. Ooh, that is Braden Carter down. Let's add some contact. So let's reset things here for just a second. Head back up front. See, Holden Code is still leading this thing comfortably. 5th place for Holiak, 6th for Hollenbeck, 7th for Mora, 8th for Copeland, and now Hinters finds his way inside of the transfer positions. He is in 9th. Adrian Wilson and Joey Carter are trying to come forward and do some battle with him, though. Not far behind that is the 74 of Richards, the 40 of Phil Bull. It is kind of a cluster in here. Lots of guys trying to make up positions, get themselves into the main event here, potentially. They're all chasing Hinters. Oh, we got a stack up in the corner. Joey Carter went down, and Craig Richards hit him, and Richards' Australian lag, as he is from Australia, kind of flipped Carter around there for a second. So Hinters is trying to fight off the pressure from Adrian Wilson. Wilson had a good couple lines there to close up, but then made a big mistake and has now lost time as Phil Bull on the 40 is trying to come forth. Oh, Wilson, oh, he dumps it coming out of the corner before the rhythm section. That's a bad place to do it. He's going to lose a ton of time trying to get his rhythm back here. Wow, lost 3 spots in the process. So now it's up to Phil Bull as he's going to try to run down Hinters. You know how Hinters has Copeland in front of him. Mora and Hollenbeck are doing battle in the whoops as Mora's getting a little huckabuck in the whoops, but able to saddle it underneath of him. These bikes in MX Simulator are very hard to control in the whoops when things start going bad. So when you see riders start to get kicked side to side like that, it's really more of a hope and prayer thing. There's only so much you can do to save it, as these guys have now worked their way up. Oh my goodness, what a takeout to Holiak. Holiak goes down. Hollenbeck kind of just took the fairly normal line there, and Holiak jumping from the outside after almost going down ends up getting the brunt of the stick right there, and he's actually outside of transfer now in 10th, so Phil Bull goes to the final transfer spot. That would not be good for Holiak to miss the main out of this heat race. Sets up a dangerous position of him going to the LCQ. It's like he is plenty fast and capable to get back into this position, though. Obviously being your defending champ. Oh, and Copeland was down, but Holiak is actually stuck on him. And now Holiak goes to the last transfer spot. Here comes Jake Fisher on the 270, though. Remember, Holiak, your 5th fastest qualifier. He's got to try to turn that maybe around a little bit going into the main event if he wants a chance at winning here tonight. Speaking of winning, Holden Code is making this race look easy. And he will make it to the line with a little time to spare here, so we're going to have 2 laps to go. Tassone under pressure from Oliver for 2nd. This is a good battle right now. And Tassone, after getting that hole shot, I honestly thought he might fade a little bit, but he's hung on quite well. And Oliver trying to show him a wheel here. Now Oliver down the inside and side by side to the finish. He's going to get that pass done. Tassone settles back. Josh Williams also trying to come into the mix. Mora is in 5th. Now Hollenbeck has Hinders and Phil Bull closing in on him for 6th. These guys all in transfer spots, so don't want to necessarily do something too stupid, but also don't want to lose another position and be at deeper risk of making a mistake and losing a transfer spot. So Hinders and Phil Bull actually having a good little fight right here. Phil Bull makes a small mistake. Now Hinders makes a mistake and is going to get past here. Oh, Hinders makes a big mistake, and he's going to go up and over the bars. He's down. So Holiak goes into 8th because of that, and now Fisher comes through into 9th. And remember, 2 laps to go, so Fisher puts himself in a good spot here. He was almost dead last when we first saw him and capitalizes on that mistake from Hinders. So it'll be up to him to hang on now. Although we've lost Holiak, so Holiak went backwards, and now it is Harry White actually in the last transfer spot. So Hinders and Holiak are the next 2 guys that need to make their way in. Like I said, huge disappointment for Holiak if he misses out, but oh, and there goes, that was Harry White down. So now it is between Holiak and Hinders for the last transfer spot. Hinders was a title threat a few years back, 2014, I think. He was battling for the championship in 250 East. Obviously, Holiak, your 2017 champion. Meanwhile, up front, Holden Coate has taken the race victory, but this battle for the last transfer spot is on, and it involves your defending champion. And now it's not a battle anymore. They don't need to pass each other because Fisher went down, and Hinders is all over the track, and he gets into Holiak, and now Hinders goes up and over the bars. He's down too. They didn't need to get together, but they did. So Holiak is going to try to get going. Meanwhile, Fisher almost went down, and Hinders is going to get back going. These guys are both out of transfer spot again. So it's Harry White and Fisher going through currently. Man, oh man, Holiak has got to be livid with Hinders right now. But that's how this game works sometimes. These weird random kicks can really mess you up, and Holiak is going full send in the whoops. He's trying to get to Fisher. He's going to send it into the finish line, almost cut the track, and miss out on going to the main out of the heat. Hinders ends up in 10th, and Holiak still hasn't crossed the finish line. He's probably typing in chat or something. I don't know. Now he's going to back over the finish line and come across 11th, cuts her in. And yep, Fisher, White, Bull, Mora, Ulver, Hollenbeck, Tassone, Williams, Coate. Going to the main, Coate with the nice heat race victory. That makes it a relaxed attire sweep of the heats, which is huge for them. Coate and Haley making it look easy out here. So apparently Hinders should be kicked because he got a little sketchy in the rhythm section and cross jumped. There you go. If someone like Alexis Leclerc cuts the first corner and causes a 15 rider pileup in the first corner, he only gets a warning. But let's kick Hinders because he got wonky in a rhythm section. Good call, Russ Chapman. All right, here we go. 450. Heat number 1 is coming up next. Remember, if you're just joining us, biggest news of the night, most likely to talk about, is your defending Supercross champion Tyson Fresquez was suspended for round 7 of the series for causing a pretty large pileup coming out of turn 1 at San Diego last week when he re-entered the track very unsafely. And unsafe track re-entries are usually pretty strictly enforced here in MotoOption Supercross. So unfortunately, no Fresquez on the gate, but the rest of our title contenders are here. Obviously, we're going to see Alexis Leclerc, your points leader, out there tonight. We're also going to see Jesse Mullins, Colton Mitchell, James Armstrong. Let's see if any of them are in this heat race. We have got Chase Blakeley, Isaiah Dickerson, Jeremy Shipley, Colby Eaglin, Jesse Mullins is here, Dakota French, Tyler Fry, Matthias Janis, Colton Mitchell, Jake West, Eduardo Simos, Reed Young, Trevor Doiron, Sabrina Ritzler, Jake Rose, Jeremy Cohenauer, Austin Eklund, Dennis Fjellberg, and Dominic Saulnier. That is going to be all 20 guys on this 450 race, which I think I have all the skins for, though, so that's kind of neat. Update from chat from one of the members of the MXS EMF track crew, the one and only Alex Efforts, letting us know Erode is actually on 2 this week. And for those of you that don't know anything about MX Simulator or MotoOption Supercross, Erode is new to the game this year. That is essentially terrain deformation for those of you Reflex or MXGP players. And so we're going to see lines develop. They're going to get deeper and deeper as we get towards the main events. But right now it's just on 2 for these heat races. And so you'll see the ruts get pretty deep in the corners probably for these 450 guys. Not sure what we're waiting on here. Yeah, I don't know what we're waiting on. I'm on board with Mullins here for a bit as he cruises around. Saw he was running some laps, so we'll see what he's doing. Whoa, chaos. Mullins is well and truly in this championship hunt, but there's a lot of catching up to do. Alexis Leclerc has pulled this thing out to make it look a little bit easy right now. So here we go. Gate is set to go drop here. 250 East heat races are done. 450 heat races are on the line, and heat number 1 is up first. So the 30 board is sideways, the revs are up, and the gate is down here as it is another land rush. Long start straight, and Rose actually gets a good start. I was watching him. He leads them through the first corner, but gets into the bales and then causes a big pile up. So it's Mullins with the actual hole shot there, and Whelan comes across. He's in second right now. Not sure why I don't have Whelan's skins, but Whelan takes over the lead. I've had his skins at every round this year, but for some reason I don't have his skins tonight. Mullins back to second. Mitchell is in third, so most of your heavy hitters right here near the front, and we're seeing these 450 guys starting to do that tap in the Dragon's back line and then go 3-3 as your leader, Bryce Whelan, has gone down, and he is going to go backwards in a hurry from the lead to somewhere outside of the top 15 or so, probably. It's 14th now, just getting going. So that has handed the lead over to Jesse Mullins of the Mad Cape team. ART Racecraft Decals number 6 machine of Colton Mitchell is in second. Jeremy Shipley sitting in third. Reed Young in fourth. Your top 3 have all won main events in this 450 class before. There's Dominic Saulnier. Sabrina Ritzler, MX Simulator's fastest woman. Trevor Doiron up and over the bars, so Blakeley's going to squeak on through, as should Tyler Fry. Isaiah Dickerson might just get there, and he is outside looking in. He is going to get there, but make a ton of mistakes, so Doiron gets the spot back. And Cohenauer cases the 3 in out there. So these guys actually struggling to get up onto that tabletop. A little surprised by that. Yeah, so you see Dickerson there. He goes up and over the table, 3-3 into the corner, and Dickerson is having some lag issues. This whole MV Films team was having lag issues in qualifying as well. We saw it with Matthias Janis. Dickerson through the whoops though. Not able to catch up to Doiron just yet. We'll see what's going on up front though for the time being. And it is a change for the lead. Mitchell's gone to the front. So Mullins coughs up the race lead. Goes back in a second. Let's go on board with Mullins here for a second. These guys running in the 54s. So Mullins is choosing to do the on-off. And it's actually going to work because Mitchell made a mistake. So now we got a battle for the lead. Can already see the line getting pretty deep coming through that corner before this straightaway. Mullins checking up there. Gonna try an inside move and almost go down. Lucky not to OJ on that table. These guys carry tremendous speed through the whoops. And then doing the tire tap right here, making it look pretty simple. 57-2, so these guys may be slowing each other up just a little bit out front. Battling with each other a little bit. Both are electing to go outside. Mitchell goes down, so Mullins is not going to get the 3 on. But Mitchell not able to capitalize on Mullins' mistake there. Reed Young comfortably in third now over Shipley and Saulnier doing battle. Sabrina Ritzler putting in her best heat race of the year so far. She has yet to make it into a main event this year. 2012 Indianapolis 450 Pro main event winner Sabrina Ritzler. Good to see her back racing. She took a couple year hiatus from the game and back into it now, passing Saulnier here. Getting further up into a transfer position. Tyler Fry, Chase Blakeley, and Colby Eagland, I believe, is your final transfer spot right now. Yes, it is. And he's got Isaiah Dickerson, his teammate, breathing down his neck here. Oh, but someone down in the whoops. That is Blakeley. And Blakeley goes back to 10th. So Dickerson, he comes forward. He's going to go into 9th. Blakeley will now try to regroup. Go back after Dickerson here. Not let him get away. Blakeley won a couple outdoor nationals in the 450 class last year, so he is definitely no slouch. Very interesting to see the different lines those guys are taking through that corner. Not many people going wide and tripling in. Maybe the guys out front are, but they have a little bit more track availability to do that. Dickerson's getting that Dragons over table 3-3 line really comfortably each lap. Probably doesn't want to pass his teammate, but it might do himself a favor because Blakeley is still right here and he's chomping at the bit. Oh, doesn't matter now. Eagland up into the bales. Goes down. So who are we missing out of this main event right now? Dakota French, Jeremy Cohenauer on the 30, who's had a couple good rounds this year. Jake West on the 133. Matthias Janis. Dennis Fjellberg. Not a good heat race for Fjellberg. High pressure situation in the LCQ usually doesn't lend too well to Fjellberg. When he's got no pressure, he is one of the fastest riders in this game, in the world. But sometimes when he gets a little pressure put onto him, it goes from bad to worse quickly. Back up front, another change for the lead. Mitchell must have gone down because Mullins has a sizable gap out front now. And yeah, Mitchell definitely went down because he is suddenly back battling with Shipley coming to the line here. So Shipley and Mitchell duking it out for second. Mitchell clearly has the speed to run with Mullins up front, but has crashed his way back here. And honestly, Shipley looks like he's getting away from him a little bit. So Mitchell's going to do this 3-3 line. Does it gain time? Yes, it does. That line seems to be faster. Oh, but Shipley coming out of the corner kind of comes across as more or less incidental contact. A lot different than Kyle Robb getting up from his crash earlier. Reed Young just kind of lurking back here. White flag has been waved for your race leader. Looks like Ritzler is going to comfortably make it in, so that's good for her. Now back here to this battling going on between 7th place and a lapped rider of Eduardo Simos. Here's 8th Chase Blakeley and 9th Isaiah Dickerson. 10th is Dakota French, and he is not close enough to do anything about these guys just yet, but one fall-off crash can change a whole lot in this game. And he's bringing Matthias Janis with him. Ooh, French up into the bales. That is Simo's off the track that they're lapping. Oh, Janis down the inside puts French on the deck, and that puts Janis up into 10th. Meanwhile, up front, Mullins takes the heat race victory here by a comfortable margin. Look at Mitchell quadding in before the whoops there. Reed Young, Jeremy Shipley, Sabrina Ritzler in 5th, Price 6th. Saulnier is in 7th, actually 8th now because Blakeley just got by. And Dickerson 9th. So Janis has got to have a little bit of luck come his way, I have to believe here. How about the big names not making it? No Fjellberg, no Whelan, no Simos has been in a lot of mains. Jake Rose has been a force out west on the 250s. He's not going in. And Janis is not going to get to these guys, so Dickerson just going to cruise it up over this double and come across in 9th. Easy peasy making it in. Janis 2.5 seconds back at the end. So you never know with cuts. It could change it up, but that is not a gap he was hoping to have. Konauer even getting the quad before the whoops, or he tried to at least. So Eklund, Fjellberg, West, Whelan, Simos, Doiron, Rose, and Eagland not going through out of this one. We will continue to wait for Konauer to finish here before cuts become official. Through the final corner, and Konauer makes that section look the easiest I've seen it made look all day long. And oh my, Matthias Janis almost got his teammate Dickerson. Dickerson had 1.8 seconds of cuts, and Janis ended up a half second back after all was said and done. So if only he got a little closer, right? Or so have you, but going to that LCQ now, and coming up next is going to be 450 heat number 2. Another full gate of 20 riders. Top 9 going to the main event from this one. So we'll see how these guys are able to fare on the track. All right, we are almost halfway through our night of racing already. That's kind of crazy. After this, it's just a couple quick LCQs and into the main events. But this 450 heat might be a touch more stacked than the last one. You have your points leader, Leclerc, lining up. Should see Jeremy Smith. We should see James Armstrong. Couple guys in this one that definitely have the speed to win here tonight. And we'll see how they're able to make it through in the heat race, how they look. This is really a good opportunity for us to see where these guys' speed is at comparatively to what the race that we just saw. Got to disconnect and reconnect. All right, so this is the parade lap for these guys. Here's your points leader, Alexis Leclerc on the number 7. Jacob Hubbard, Russ Chapman, your current 250 West points leader. Brandon Hedge, Zach Dupuis, Cameron Lee, Adam Holm, Devin Ryan, Spencer Turley's out here. We got Cale Simmerock, we got Nathan Zaworski, Jeremy Siebel, Dominic Tiberino, of course Russ Chapman, Dupuis, Finn Collins, Jack Fowler, Tyler Lewis, Sean Klein, Tyler Schmidt, Jeremy Smith, and 45. Who's 45? I forget. Alrighty. Let's take a look at Turley here on the start. He's in a nice middle-ish spot on the inside. And it's time for the final heat race of the night from Dallas. I'm ready. I'm set. Are you guys ready? Because it's time to drop the gate for 450 heat number 2. The whole shot artist Tyler Schmidt has a good start. So does Turley and a couple others. But it's Leclerc going into turn 1. But he runs way off the track and then re-enters rather unsafely. But it's Tyler Schmidt, of course, a typical whole shot master, coming out with the whole shot here. Siebold's trying to triple up past him, and he gets it, so Siebold goes to the lead. Schmidt tucking in right behind him. We had dualies on the triple, and now Schmidt takes the lead away back. as Chapman is right there in the mix. I think that's Smith on the 4. Oh, we got a bunch of different lines going. Oh, Chapman quads onto the back of his teammate Siebold. Very aggressive line on the first lap. So now it's Schmidt from his teammate Jeremy Smith, and Leclerc already up here and going for a very aggressive pass. Say what you want about Leclerc, but the old Leclerc is back. He is riding aggressive. He's riding dirty. He's cutting first corners. He's finding cheater ways to start. Not too fond of this Leclerc. I've had my fair share of run-ins with him in the past, as have many others, and I think people are going to start getting tired of it, but so far so good for him in the championship. Ben Collins, Sean Klein, Adam Holm, and then Siebold after that crash with his teammate. Here is his teammate Chapman. Tiberino also in the mix. Dupuis, Cameron Lee. All these guys outside looking in. Here is Spencer Turley. I know a lot of people asking about him. Devin Ryan back in the mix as well. Logan Leitzel. So it's just kind of settling in back here. I think I saw Smith was actually back in there. Yeah, he's 11th now. So Leclerc out front and cruising away. Adam Holm has moved into second. He's bringing Siebold with him and the 10 of Sean Klein. So Holm, a 450 regular. The rest of these guys, actually Siebold's a 450 regular too, my bad. But Klein also on the 250 West Series, racing out here on the East. Siebold gonna try an inside move on. Oh, Holm, and there's contact. Here comes Klein up through the middle. He's gonna pull alongside. Does he have a potential move lined up here? He's gonna cut underneath. Nice line. They're gonna go side by side. Siebold's gonna do the over 3-3. Klein was checking him there, but ends up checking up behind him now. Oh, Klein going for the quad into the whoops. He actually would have had a great drive on Siebold, but landed off the track. So here's Holm, and we got Hubbard coming through with Tiberino and Chapman. Zach Dupuis holds down the 8th spot with Tyler Schmidt right on him, and then Turley is in 10th. So Turley is the first guy outside looking in. Tyler Schmidt, your 2016 250 East champion, is on the bubble, but he's trying to make the pass on Dupuis here. Showing him a wheel, but Dupuis... Oh, and then Dupuis goes straight on in the corner, goes down. Couldn't tell if there was contact between him and Schmidt there or not, but that was kind of a weird fall-off crash. So that kind of resets everything. And now Turley is going to find his way in indefinitely because that was Tiberino down in the rhythm section. Klein is right in front of him. Leitzel's right behind him. So Turley 8th. Leitzel's now on the bubble. Final transfer spot here. He's just trying to get around Turley, it seems. Turley driving it deep behind Klein. Ooh, little bobble. Yeah, here's Leitzel. He's got a good run down the right side of the whoops. Does he throw it in on Turley? What the heck just happened there? They went into each other, and now Cameron Lee gets hung up behind them. Leitzel actually ended up going down, so Lee's going to make the pass on Turley. Now Turley goes back to the final transfer spot. Tiberino's coming through, as is Finn Collins right behind him. Turley's just trying to hang on here. I couldn't tell whose lag it was necessarily there that caused that crash between him and Leitzel, but they were going to make contact regardless. So you really can't blame either of them, I guess. Turley's still riding the bubble, though. Tiberino and Finn Collins, as mentioned, are trying to close that gap down. I love Collins' setup. That looks really clean right there. This whole Evergood team has done a really good job. Oh, Turley gets around Chapman. I thought there was going to be contact there. Tiberino also got around Chapman, but Chapman trying to square him up here. Chapman going to dive bomb down the inside here and try to run it in on Tiberino. No holds barred for Chapman. He is definitely one of the more aggressive riders that races this series. Oh, Turley a mistake, and Tiberino launches to the inside of him, and there's contact, so Chapman goes through, Collins gets into Turley, and Leitzel goes through on the 45. Tiberino gets up in the 11th spot now, but is going to make the pass on Leitzel here. Did I have that right, or are they 9th? No, actually, Tiberino is in 9th. Leitzel trying to check up, and oh, that was Chapman going down in the corner, so now it's Leitzel back into the final transfer spot. Turley is trying to come forward again to get into this mix. Let's see what the 61 machine can do. Oh, Tiberino down. And that's going to open the door, so Turley now goes through into that final transfer spot. It is just musical chairs back here. Who wants it? Right now, Turley is the man that possesses that position. So we'll reset things here for just a second. It is still Leclerc with a nice, comfortable lead out front. Siebold is in the 2 spot. Holm in 3rd. Here's the number 10 machine of Sean Klein. He currently occupies the 4 spot. Jacob Hubbard is in 5th. And here's Tyler Schmidt trying to square him up. White flag in the air for Leclerc out front. Here's Schmitty down the inside. Good pass. Got the drive on him, made it happen. So he moves to 5th. Hubbard back to 6th. 7th for Lee, now 8th for Turley, so he's gotten ahead of this group a little bit. 9th for Tiberino, and Devin Ryan and Russ Chapman outside looking in. I don't think Chapman wants to miss this main event. Perfect on the West Coast so far, undefeated in 250 West action, and would come out east on a 450 and not even make the main out of the heat. That would be a rough one, but he's got to get through Devin Ryan first, and Ryan so far riding a wide bike. Chapman's just going to send it in. Yep, stands him up in the corner, gets the pass done, so he moves to 10th. Oh, and Turley was down. Turley down in the first rhythm section. That hands the spot to Chapman. Didn't even need to work for it necessarily, but got that pass done on Ryan, so did have to work for it a little bit. Meanwhile, up front, Alexis Leclerc takes the victory, 250 or 450 heat number 2, and that is bad news for the rest of the field because he's looking good. Siebold goes down, so Klein is going to be handed 2nd. Schmidt moves up to 3rd. Schmidt looks like he's Jeremy Smith out there, man. Smith comes across in 16th. He's going to go to the LCQ. So Holm also got through on Siebold, which means Siebold got pushed all the way down to 5th, but he's going to try to pass Holm before the line. Doesn't get it. Hubbard's going through, Tiberino and Chapman in 8th. Devin Ryan holds down 9th. So who did we lose? And yeah, Devin Ryan's going to hang on. Leitzel not going through. That must have been who we lost. He is 10th. Oh no, we lost Cameron Lee. Cameron Lee goes back to 11th. Must have crashed on the last lap. Finn Collins, 12th. Simmerock, Dupuis. Turley goes all the way back to 15th. He started the last lap in 8th. And is going to end up in this one in 15th. That is no bueno for him. The worse he finishes out of this one, the worse his gate pick for the LCQ. And that was a, man, quick hook. Real quick restart. I didn't even see if cuts changed anything. All right. I'll give you guys a little third-person perspective of the track while we wait for scripts to be loaded in for these LCQs. Show you guys these lines some people are taking a little bit. Probably get cut short, but oh well. So these guys are coming through turn 1, tripling into this corner, and then oddly enough they're not going 3 onto the table. Some people are, but most are going 2. It's table over single, double, into the Supercross triple, and then you can see some people right here are going tap and then land in that pocket, triple over the table, triple again, and then triple into the corner. And come back down the start straight here, wide open. You get to about here, get on the brakes, shift down to first. Get doubled into the corner nice and neatly. Some people are able to quad right here. I didn't want to try it just now though. Then through the whoops. Little carrot jump right in the middle of them. Come out of this one, you kind of wheelie into these a little bit. And then this jump is really tricky. These guys are having to soak it up and then double. And then that is a nice lap at Dallas. And I cut short right at the perfect time, right before I was going over the finish line. Yep, MX Prodigy 17, Tyler Schmitty dropping by, letting me know he hole shot and died for me. Really, it was like Leclerc hole shot to the other side of the stadium, though. I mean, he went all the way into the second lane and then got back onto the track. Alrighty. 250 LCQ should be coming up right now. This is going to be 22 riders for 4 minutes and a lap. And top 4 will be going to the main event. As mentioned previously in the program, everybody else is going to the seats. All right. Gonna have to reload in here. It's being a complete idiot there for a second. I couldn't even touch the correct button. All right. So we got a lot of people, including your points, or not points leader, your defending champion. Holiak is in this one. Gatlin, Carter, Davis, Zars, Richards, Silic, Copeland, Thorpe, Kunitz, Grigo, Hinners, Parks, Hamilton, Holiak. There's going to be some unhappy campers out of this one. Some of these guys don't make it in. And just because we really should pay attention to him on the line, because it'll be huge if he misses it. We're going to take a look at our points leader. Why do I keep saying points leader? He has the red plate because he's defending champion, but there are no points yet, of course, because it's the first round of the series. So we're going to take a look at our defending champion, Connor Holiak. Pretty good spot next to the doghouse. This has worked out pretty good for some people, but he has got a big task in front of him to qualify out of this LCQ. Can he do it? We are going to watch right now live here on SYS TV. It's a 250 LCQ, and he hit the gate. He's going to end up behind a lot of people as there's some contact up the inside. A couple guys going down, a couple guys getting stacked up, and Heagney on the 252 stroke comes out with the early hole shot. Cases the rhythm section entering the next section, though. And hands over that spot to Baker, not seeing the number 1 up inside of the top 10. You got to watch the ticker to see where he is. That is not a good sign. It is Baker from Copeland, Hinners, and now Carter. We got Heagney, Kunitz, Parks, Richards, Carter, Davis, Batchlet, Thorpe, and then Holiak. He's in about 11th. Oof, almost missed the on-off right there. He's got a lot of work to do, but these LCQs can be chaotic. People going down a lot can kind of change things up. So he's definitely not out of it yet, but that doesn't help, getting stuck behind a couple guys going down. Devin Davis is off the track, so that actually moves Connor Holiak up into the 9 spot. And then there's more guys getting hung up before the whoops here. He's going to have a good shot moving forward. But it's Baker from Hinners, Heagney, and Kunitz on the first lap. Now Copeland, Parks, Carter, Richards, and then Holiak. We're going to keep progress here with Holiak. He's got to get around 5 guys, and he was about to make a pass on 1. He is not going to make a pass on 1 there. 74 of Richards is right in front of him. That is not a good guy to have in front of him. There's a big lag bubble going on around Richards right now. Oh, he's going to get a couple spots, so Richards parks somebody. That helps out Holiak. Can Holiak do it? He is up to 7th. It's got to get to 4th. This is going to be probably a 5-lap race. Well, it'll be close. These guys are they're going over the finish line right now. 2 minutes left on the clock. Oh, he's going to get Richards. That's a huge help for him. Richards is going to be a disaster to try to pass for Holiak. So he's up to 6 now. 2 more spots. He's got to get 2 more spots. It's Copeland and Braden Carter that he's got to get. But, oh, man, casing rhythm sections like that. Just 1 more spot. Carter went down. So Braden Carter goes down out of 5th. And Holiak has just got to get 1 more spot. And it is possessed right now by the 67 of Dylan Copeland. A fall-off crash right now for Holiak would be disastrous. He has got to put the bit between his teeth here and try to grind this one out. Of course, he's got to go fast enough to get to Copeland. But he doesn't want to push it too far, because if he does go down, I mean, it is probably over. These guys are all riding pretty well. But he's catching Copeland rapidly right now. Yeah, he got to him real quick, and I don't know if there is 2 laps to go or not. It might be 3. But we're on lap 4. He's going to get the 3 in, and 3 into the outside. Copeland goes inside, hangs on. Now Holyak into the Supercross triple. Does he send it down the inside right here, or is he waiting? Yeah, he's going to wait. Going to bide his time. Try to find a spot where he can really make the pass, but he's got to be careful. Whew, good save. Copeland is probably clenching a little bit right now. Here's Holyak down the inside. No. Checking up. He's being very patient. It's a smart ride, but if Copeland makes a mistake and collects Holyak like we saw with Hinters in the heat race, it could be not what he was hoping for. He is really biting his time, though. 2 laps to go. There is still the green flag out. We're on lap 5. So 2 laps to go for Holyak to get it. I think he's hoping maybe Copeland will just crash. Oh my. Very close. Now gets down to the inside, trying to pull alongside, but Copeland pulls back out a little bit, cuts across the front of him. He's got to be getting tired of it at this point. Is he going to? Nope. Copeland's riding defensively, and he's doing a good job at it. Oh my goodness, Holyak has been so sketchy on that Dragon's back. Gotta give props to Copeland right now, though. He is riding a very strong race, holding him off. But how much longer is Holyak going to wait before he makes a desperate pass? Oh my goodness. Very close. Copeland comes across in the whoops, blocks the inside line, gets held up for the corner, and white flag is going to be out next time by. Into the whoops. Copeland hanging on. Holyak is trying to be patient with him, but it's coming out. Coming down, I should say, to the last bits here. Does he try to throw it in somewhere? And if he does, where is he going to do it? He's going to 3 in here. He's going to 3 to the outside. Copeland, is not going to throw it deep into the corner on him. And that might do it. Holyak has got a clean gap as Copeland, I should say, makes a mistake. So it's Baker leading. And Holyak has done it. He got into 4th. And Copeland was not able to capitalize on anything. How about it for Noah Baker, though? Clean race up front. He's actually running the wrong bike right now. Should be number 413, but maybe he'll get that sorted for the main event. Either way, he's going right in as he wins the LCQ. Hinters is going to also join him, as will Billy Kunitz, and Survival. But he made it, or will he? Oof, almost got a bad kick, but Holyak goes through. Your defending champion is the last guy to make it into the main event tonight. Wow. Whew. Probably got to be sweating that one out. That was, I mean, give all the credit in the world to Copeland for holding him off as long as he did, because Holyak got to him very, very quickly and then had to sit behind him for a long time trying to be patient, not do something stupid, and cause both of them to go down, or maybe just himself to go down, and it would really be the end of it. Good question in chat of who was runner-up in East last year, and we should probably talk about him because he was slated to race tonight, but no idea why he didn't end up lining up, and that is Connor Linz. No Connor Linz tonight for some reason. Really not too sure why that is. I'd heard mostly that he was planning on racing this one. All right, main event time coming up here. Well, no, I shouldn't say main event because I was 250. So main events are about to come up, but next up is the 450 last chance qualifier. And this one also featuring some pretty big names. We've got Jeremy Smith and Dennis Fjellberg, 2 guys right off the top of my head that I can remember that did not qualify in, which is very rare. A couple single digits out there. Talked earlier in the season how we had all the single digits except Hunter Root out there racing. And Yeah. Now it's not that way anymore. Fresquez number 1 and technically number 2. Not racing tonight. Fjellberg and Smith are in this LCQ. Number 5 is Hunter Root, and he is not racing this series. Number 6 is Colton Mitchell. We saw him. 7, your points leader, Alexis Leclerc. Number 8, Matt Burkeen is in the 250 class tonight. And number 9, of course, is Jesse Mullins. All right. Gonna have to probably refresh again. Over and over and over. I wish there's a hotkey. I should try to add a hotkey that just does that every time. Let's see who we got in this one. We got Tyler Lewis, Cameron Lee, Trevor Doiron, Jeremy Cohenauer, Zach Dupuis, Logan Leitzel, Jeremy Smith, Dennis Fjellberg, Brandon Hedge, Dakota French, Jake Rose, Austin Eklund, Jake West, Matthias Janis, Finn Collins, Spencer Turley, Jack Fowler, Eduardo Simos, Nathan Zaworski, and Colby Eagland all lining up in this LCQ. And there's only 4 spots available for the main event tonight. Who is going to get them? That is the real question here. Bryce Whelan also in this one. Hadn't noticed him, but he gets good starts, so we'll take a look at him on the start. There are a lot of big names in this LCQ, and only 4 people will be going through. It's time to drop the gate as it is down, and Whelan, who I thought would get a good start, got a awful start. Instead, it is Fjellberg and Smith side by side into turn 1, but Fjellberg pushes Smith wide. Now Cohenauer pushes Fjellberg wide. Somebody down wide of the first corner ended up in the rhythm lane, so Cohenauer goes to the lead. Fjellberg tripling back by him, though. That was a little sketchy. Dakota French and Jeremy Smith in transfer spots. So all of these guys have been in main events before. Of course, Smith and Fjellberg have won main events before in the 450 class, and Smith is going to get a twofer as he puts French on the deck. Kind of incidental contact there. A little deep for Smith, honestly, but not much he can do. Fjellberg trying to take about the worst track re-entry I've ever seen. Ends up biting his own legs off right there. So he goes backwards. Be lucky if he doesn't get protested for that. We saw Tyson Fresquez not racing tonight because of an illegal track re-entry last week. So Turley. So right now it is Smith, Cohenauer, Eklund, and Turley once again on the bubble spot. And he comes up a little bit short here in this rhythm section. Whelan gonna 3 on behind him, but make a mistake. Just trying to get to the Supercross triple. Finally gets there and cases it. So Jake West, the guy with the closest opportunity at the moment. Turley has been the bubble guy all night, though. 9th for a long time in his heat race. Ended up just outside after a late crash. Well, actually was in 8th on the last lap of his heat and then crashed his way back to 15th. He's trying to get around Eklund, but doesn't need the spot, so it's not necessary. Last thing he wants, though, is Bryce Whelan to catch him and make the pass. And Whelan, who was your points leader of this series at 1 point this year, is no slouch. So Whelan doing that over table 3-3 line. Guy's doing a good job of making options work, and this is starting to build up to a bit of a stack up. In fact, I'm going to go on board with Whelan because we got 3 guys right in front of him here, all for position. Turley's trying to make the pass on Eklund. They're both kind of ganging up right there behind. Can't see who that is right at the front. That's Cohenauer. Meanwhile, here comes Whelan closing up on Turley for this last transfer spot, 54.8. So what does he do? Does he try to find a quick way by? Does he settle in? Oh, they're going to get by... Who's that? down, I think maybe Smith, and Whelan goes down. Yeah, that's Jeremy Smith for some reason mixed in here. Kohenauer, Turley, Whelan, Eklund, Fjellberg, and now Smith. So Smith crashed his way back here, now gets into Simos, who front flips on the triple. And Smith is just not having a night that he'd like to remember right now. But him and Fjellberg still both outside looking in. They have to get to Whelan, who's going into the end of the straightaway right now. And all three of these guys have won main events before in the 450 division, and only one of them at the moment will probably go through unless we see a mistake from another one of the front runners. It's going to need to be Turley or Janis probably, though. Kohenauer's already kind of settled out into a nice, comfortable lead. Got a rider down. It is Janis. Janis down. Fjellberg goes through. So now that puts Fjellberg in the 4 spot. And Smith behind him is going to actually go by into that final transfer spot. And they're both going to dualies up the triple. Fjellberg wants to get back by, though. Different lines again coming into play. Fjellberg with arguably the slower line. You saw Smith pull away a little bit there towards the middle of that section. Well, Smith a mistake. Fjellberg quadding in, gets the pass done. A battle between two of the all-time winningest 250 riders of all time, and Trevor Doiron just does the most ridiculous track reentry I've ever seen, and it causes Fjellberg to go down. Doiron earlier tonight complaining and qualifying about riders getting in his way, ends up being the one that gets in the way during the time that it matters and spoils Fjellberg. And Fjellberg now making a mistake is going to go down again. It's just going from bad to worse. Whoa, Fjellberg going for the send line, and he's down again. And he disconnects. His night is over. Fjellberg is not going to the main event. And I would have to believe that Trevor Doiron is going to get a nice, good old suspension. Might be a week, might be longer, though. That was a little bit ridiculous. So Smith looks like he's going to make it through. Meanwhile, Kohenauer takes the victory. Turley right ahead of Whelan goes through. And Smith is going to get that last transfer spot. Unbelievable. I want to see if anybody's talking about Doiron. Yeah, a couple people saying it. Yeah, that really sucked. I mean, lap traffic causing a problem there. So outside looking in is Matthias Janis, Eduardo Simos, Austin Eklund, Dakota French, Zach Dupuis trying to get by French to the line, but ends up going down and not even getting over the line. So Zaworski ripping up a 2-stroke out here, comes across in 16th, a lap down, right ahead of, that was West and Finn Collins, Dupuis, Cameron Lee, Logan Leitzel, Dennis Fjellberg, who we saw, Trevor Doiron, Zaworski, Simrock, Rose, Fowler, Lewis, Hedge, and myself in warm-up mode. And Eaglin didn't even leave the line, so that's not what Eaglin wants to have happen. And cuts are in, and nothing changed inside of the top 4. So that is the field for tonight. So right now they're going to build scripts, and just because I am a curious partaker in this community, I'm going to go ahead and take a peek at chat, because I'd like to see what the heck just happened. Yeah, Fjellberg not happy, obviously. Doiron's kind of been doing this all night, though. As I said, complained a lot in qualifying over some kind of nothings, and then ends up being the problem. Unfortunate, but it's how she goes sometimes for Fjellberg there. All right, coming up next is the 250 main event. And that is your lineup there at the bottom of your screen. Jack Haley and Holden Cote, both your fastest qualifiers, both going right into this race as the first and second gate picks, winners of their heat races. And we're going to see what they're able to do in this main event. Of course, they'll be up against each other and the rest of the field. Good to see that Hollenbeck was able to make it in. And we're just waiting to load in. Fortunately enough, all these races have a parade lap, so that's kind of nice for me because it gives me the time to load in. All right, loading in, loading in. All right, let's see who we got in this 250 main event here tonight. Of course, we saw them all in their heat race, and we're seeing them out here tonight. It is Holden Cote, Jack Haley, Phil Bull, Clay Alfrey, Harry White, Josh Williams, Garrett Oliver, Billy Kunitz, Edward Mora, Garrett Hollenbeck, Brett Powers, Matt Burkeen, Jake Fisher, Tyler Lang, Daniel Mills, Peter Like, Connor Hollenbeck, Jeremy Hinters, Josh Betts, Maxime Tassone, and Kyle Robb. Make up all the runners here tonight. I might have missed somebody. Josh Williams, maybe? Clay Alfrey, Bill Bull, yep. I think I got everybody. Alrighty, here we go. The first round of the East on the gate. All these guys have something to prove, but what are they going to prove exactly? We are about to find out. Tassone got the whole shot in the heat race. We'll see what he does here. It is time for the 250 East Series in Dallas. Good start again from Tassone. He's got the control of the field, and he's going to lead him into turn one. And the 951 is going to get the whole shot here. Starts off the East Coast Series the right way. Daniel Mills right there in second. Peter Like is in third on the 73. We also got Phil Bull on the 40, and then Haley, your fastest qualifiers, also is in the mix right here. Right there in fifth. Williams, Oliver, Fisher, Cote, White, Baker, Lang, Mora passing Kunitz, Matt Burkeen back here. Hollenbeck with a terrible start, but of course he had the last gate pick, so that's going to happen. But it is Tassone leading this thing. Flashback to 2013, if you will. And Tassone at actually one point of the series, 250 West Series, had the points lead at round 3 in 2013, and he wants to make it almost 5 years since he's led the points in a North America Pro Championship. But right now he's looking pretty good as he leads the field on lap number 1, but Haley is coming. Haley means business tonight. What can Haley accomplish? He's going to try to run up to the back of Tassone, make the pass. He's bringing Phil Bull with him somewhat. Let's actually go on board with Haley here early on as he's going to make the pass on Tassone right here. Looks like pulling up alongside. Not quite there just yet. Going to cut back underneath, but that 250 two-stroke power just ripping down the start straight. So Haley bites his time again. Now he's going to cut back underneath. Let's see his drive in the whoops. Pretty good, but thinks better of it. Still just kind of lurking right there behind Tassone. Tassone's doing a pretty good job of kind of using up the middle line of the track, but Haley's going to cut underneath and take the lead right here, it looks like. Yes, he will. New race leader, lap number 3. Jack Haley takes it away from Tassone. And And he might not have anybody to answer the call with him as Tassone actually makes a mistake. Is going to maybe lose that spot to Phil Bull. Makes another mistake, and yes, Phil Bull goes by. Josh Williams, Noah Baker, Peter Like, and Matt Burkeen. Burkeen coming up to the back wheel of Peter Like right here, and he's bringing, I think that's Gatlin right behind him. Looks like Burkeen's actually lagging a little bit. I'm sorry, that's Harry White right behind him. Holden Coate, your second fastest qualifier, is in 9th. Holiak, your defending champion, is in 10th. Kyle Robb, former series champion, is in 11th. You can see across the top of your screen where your favorite rider perhaps is. Yeah, Burkeen is having some really, really bad lag issues right now. It's not going to help him one bit as he tries to reel in Peter Like. Burkeen has to check up right there behind Like as Like kind of goes full send. Doing a little Boner Air Leclerc action. Burkeen has the line down the inside. Kind of cross each other in the air, but Burkeen gets the spot clean. Now we'll try to set his sights forward. Still having a little bit of lag issues though. I think Like's just trying to stay away from him because Burkeen is kind of gnarly right now. But behind that, here comes your second fastest qualifier, Holden Coate. And a heat race winner earlier tonight. So obviously he wants to get up there, maybe try to battle with his teammate Haley at some point in this series, but Haley right now is cruising away with the lead a little bit. Phil Bull is keeping him honest. Oh, Burkeen might get passed back. Like has a little wheel on him here. They go side by side over the finish line, but Burkeen able to sweep around and hold on to the spot. What it's doing is allowing Coate, who's nailing this 3 into the rhythm, to kind of get back up into this battle. Oh, Like! He nails the pole, and he goes down. So now Coate will set his sights on Burkeen. There's actually a good group in front of these guys. Tassone battling with Williams, and he goes up and over the bars. So now Noah Baker and Josh Williams battling it out. This is for 3rd, I believe. Baker's riding really well. We saw him have a really good ride, I believe, earlier this year at Oakland in the 450 class when he landed his Split Designs Co. Honda up inside of the top 10. Now trying to make a impression here on the 250 East region. Looks like he was reeling in Williams a little bit. Oh, he's getting this 3 in right here. That's going to help him out a little bit, but then he messes up the rest of the section. You really have to go 3-3 right there for it to be worth it. So Williams up the Dragon's back, down the other side. Cruising, getting away. Meanwhile, Phil Bull is still occupying the 2 spot and is the only person within reasonable distance of Jack Haley who is sprinting away at the front of the field and making it look easy while doing so. Burkeen still has Holden Coate breathing down his neck. We'll go on board with the Coate for a little bit. This is your battle for 5th. Look at Coate. So good in the whoops. Gets the inside line. Burkeen doesn't have much of an answer, although I think he cut underneath. He might be right alongside of him here. Does he show him a wheel? Nope. Coate closes the door, makes that pass happen. And Coate's going 3 in right here, which is a huge help. Yeah, he's able to get away a little bit more just because of that. So Noah Baker's still battling it out with Josh Williams, man. This is a good battle between these two. This is still over 3rd. Baker has an inside move here, but kind of messes up on the little hip jump there. So Williams pulls back away. They are somewhat reeling in Phil Bull. Bull has to avoid a downed rider. Williams almost gets into that downed rider. That's going to cause Baker to go on through. So Baker now moves up into that 3 spot. Like I said, they are reeling in Phil Bull, so they're tightening this thing up, and just saw a flash of Jack Haley going back the other way. So really, they're not losing touch with Haley either. This is actually turning into a pretty good main event with all these guys still so close at the front. And we've got maybe the fastest guy on track right now, Holden Cote, kind of closing up from behind. This thing could get interesting. We're about at the halfway point. We're just past 7.5 minutes. 8 minutes is really pretty much the halfway point, because if it's 15 minutes plus a lap, it's usually a 16 or 17 minute main event. Somewhere in that range. So once we hit 8, we're right about that halfway point. And I would like to do a cheeky little run through the field here. And I'm probably going to wait until these guys are into the whoops to do that, because that's probably where I have the best camera for doing this. Maybe I'll wait till the finish line. Wait till Haley gets back to the finish line, and we'll go ahead and give an idea of where everybody is at in relationship to your race leader. I'll see the camera in the whoops again, see if I like it. So Haley through the whoops. And coming down to the finish line, up and over the finish line on the lap number 10. And let's do a quick run through the field. Lapper number 84, then Phil Bull battling with Noah Baker. Hinner's a lap down. There is 4th, Williams. 5th, Holden Cote. And coming through, that is, might be Daniel Mills in 6th. I don't think he's a lap down. Could be wrong. Nope, he is in 21st, so he is a lap down. So 6th is way, way back here. And it's Kyle Robb on the 23. That is 6th place. Here is 7th to Sohn on the 951. 8th is Burkeen, fittingly enough, number 8. Here comes 9th. That's Harry White, number 210. 10th place right there for Hollenbeck. 11th for someone on a Husky, not sure. 12th for your defending champion Holiak, and then a gaggle of guys mixed in there. I saw Tyler Lang and a couple others mixed in. So this is probably around the 15th spot right there for, that is, what's his name? Forget his name. Edward Mora, and it's actually 18th. But that is a lap through the field. Kept wanting to say Alex Carlo, but it's Edward Mora in 18th. So Haley is cruising right now, but honestly, Noah Baker is keeping this thing fairly close, and he is riding really strong. He's gotten away from Williams now. Made that pass and got away. See that line really developing through that corner. So we've lost Phil Bull from 2nd. Now Cote is putting the pressure on Bull for 4th. These guys all pretty evenly matched through these whoop sections. Not a lot of time being gained. Cote's really good in this section before the finish, but still not able to make up enough time on Bull to get the pass completed. And Bull actually starting to reel back in just a little bit. Josh Williams, look at this. Inside move. Cote puts him on the deck. Had enough of it. Gets around him. Goes into the 4 spot. I thought maybe he was going to swing wide and try to just get a drive through the next section. Ended up sending it in deep down the inside. And made it happen for him. So now his next target, if you so wish to call it that, is Josh Williams, who is running in that 3 spot right now. Oh, Baker loses the front end. Tyler Lang hits him, so we got a stack up. Here comes Williams. But Williams can't even do the double because he was so caught off. So now Holden Cote is closing in. Lapper is coming into play a little bit here. Cote has an inside move, chops him off, and takes over the 3rd spot. That is Lang battling with Powers, and those guys are in the 16th and 17th spot right now. I'm sorry, further back than that. Gave them a little bit more credit. 17th and 18th. And they are just not moving right now for Holden Coat. In fact, Lang puts powers on the deck. Coat's trying to come forward. 7-second lead for Haley. 10 seconds back is Coat, who has worked his way all the way forward to get to this position. And Lang still not moving and still taking guys out here. Not good at all. The more time you spend being in this blue flag zone that Lang is in and not moving, the more opportunity there is that you could actually be penalized for this kind of riding. So he's got to be careful here. Still one whole lap of Coat being behind him and no moving for Lang yet. Coat's getting that 3 and very consistently. Almost gets into the back of Lang, who's really causing problems now. Now Coat has a lot of time lost because of that. And Lang has a big enough gap in front of him that, oh, and now he goes down. So all that work just to go down and lose the same spots that he gained. So Baker is trying to keep Haley close, but it's just getting further and further away at this point. Haley had kind of fallen backwards a little bit, but so far it's not really doing much good here. Yeah, Baker's still losing time now, making mistakes as well. Coat is starting to reel him in here. This could be a relax attire 1-2. And got to give a little bit of a shout out to their teammate, Garrett Hollenbeck. He's running in 10th right now in what I think is maybe his first or second pro race of his career. Connor Holiak out of the LCQ in 13th currently. So it looks like, if anything, Coat is going to get to Baker before Baker gets to Haley, although the gap has gone back down a little bit. 6 seconds now is the gap, but Coat is coming. We'll go on board with him again. That line's getting deep coming out of that corner, and Coat unable to 3 into the section now. Who's this he is catching up to? It might be Garrett Oliver, the MV Films machine. Yeah, it looks like 288 there. Oh, rider down on the right side. That's a lapper. Right in front of him now is Noah Baker. That is the battle for second on your screen. These ruts are getting real choppy in and out of them. Noah Baker is losing some time, but Holden Coat is definitely gaining that time back on him. And it, oh, almost rider's in the way there, and Coat gets the spot as the white flag is waving. And it is now a relax attire 1-2 here on the last lap. And Haley is darn near led this thing wire to wire. He is looking really comfortable right now. And this relax attire duo is going to be hard to stop, especially when Coat starts outside of the top 10 and just slices his way forward, ends up getting in a second before this thing is over. Very calculated ride from both of these guys. And Haley is just making this thing look way too easy. But it is a good way to start off his season, and a good way to take this momentum going forward into the series, as Jack Haley is going to bring it down. And Jack Haley is your winner. Opening round of the 250 East Championship goes to Haley. And his teammate Holden Coat, fastest qualifiers, won their heat races, 1-2 in the main. I'd say that's a pretty darn perfect night for the relaxed attire guys. Noah Baker, a very strong third, it must be said. He kept that thing very close most of the race, rode fantastic. Williams, Rob, then Phil Bull just got onto the track behind a lapper. Burkeen is lagged out. Or did he finally get kicked, maybe? No, he is lagged out. And Harry White's going to go on by. Yeah, not sure what happened. So White through. Oliver's already finished, so Burkeen, the worst he's going to get is 8th, although he might just suddenly respawn again, having already finished the race. And cuts are in, so let's see, anything change? No, everything stayed fine and dandy inside of the top 10. Looks like Lang lost a spot to Powers. Powers ends up 13th. Holiak 15th. Tassone Holeshot to 16th. And Alfrey only went 11 laps. So everybody finished the race except Alfrey. So that's good to see. Oh, Matt Burkeen's computer shut off. Oh, man, that's not good. I think he was running right around the 5 spot, judging by where he was on the track in relation to some people, so that sucks. But fortunately for him, they lapped so deep into the field, the race leaders did, that he only ends up 8th out of this one. Whew. All right, 250 main in the books. Our first round of East is over, but our 7th round of the 450 championship is coming up. And we're going to see if anybody can take it to Leclerc. 2 in a row for Leclerc. He's riding a hot streak right now, and having the points lead is making life a little easy for him, but it can't be forgotten necessarily that he doesn't have the largest of points leads. He has 133 points to Colton Mitchell's 116. So he has a 17-point lead on Mitchell. Mullins on 109. Is 24 points back. Armstrong on 91, despite missing the opening round and having a terrible week last week for that matter. Seabolt still top 5 in points on 89 points. So there's still a lot to play for in this class. Anything can change at any given time, but I will say Leclerc has gotten better and better as the season goes on. He's looking better. He's definitely riding a lot more aggressive, so he's going to start making less and less friends at this point, but his speed is there. He looks really good and consistent. It's really just about keeping the enemies on his side necessarily. So Leclerc, Blakeley, Ritzler, Mullins, Klein, Schmidt, Hubbard, Tiverino, Smith, Turley, Cohenauer, Young, Mitchell, Chapman, Ryan, Shipley, Whelan, Fry, Dickerson, Holm, Saulnier, and I just missed it, but I think it was Seabolt is the last guy lining up here tonight. Speaking of Seabolt, he's got a good spot on the gate, so we're going to go ahead and watch him. But it is time for round number 7 of MotoOption Supercross, live on SYS TV. Let's go racing in Dallas. It's a good start for Holm, better one for Schmidt. He's got the inside move, and he gets a hole shot. Your points leader, Leclerc, is down, and it is a 1-2-4 for VersusPC FamMX. It looks like, or it was. Somebody went down, but Smith takes the early lead. Mullins is in there as well. Looks like Schmidt went down, so Mullins and Colton Mitchell are in a prime position, and I don't know why I just realized this, but there is no James Armstrong out there tonight, so Armstrong really has shot himself in the foot championship-wise, not making it at the opener, and now missing this week. But it is Smith, Mullins, Mitchell, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to keep an eye on the progress. Alexis Leclerc is going to try to make through the field. This again went down in the first corner. Not sure how far back he ended up, but it looks like he is... Oh, no, he's 21st on this first lap. He is buried, and he's just getting up from a crash in the background there, entering the first set of whoops. So this is going to be very interesting. Lots of points can be gained, especially for Mullins and Mitchell, who are 2 and 3 on the track right now. Oh, and a mistake for Smith causes the race lead to change. There goes Mullins to the front. So Mullins takes over the race lead. Smith settles in second behind him. Mitchell right there as well. All these guys doing the over-table 3-3 line. except Mullins didn't do it, so actually lost a little bit of time. We got a 3-rider train. We'll go on board with Mitchell here and watch this happen in front of us. 3 different teams as well, so that's good to see. Good representation. ART Racecraft Decals number 6, Colton Mitchell right behind VersusPC FamMX Suzuki's Jeremy Smith, who made a mistake in the whoops right there. And Mad Cape Racing Team's number 9, Jesse Mullins, leads the way here on to lap number 3. Oh, Mullins off the track. Smith tripling in. Mullins comes back on and still triples up onto the tabletop. But he made another mistake. Almost went off the track there as Mitchell pulls alongside Smith. Side by side on the triple. Good onboard action right here. Ooh, Mitchell went a little long, but somehow the suspension is able to suck up that jump. These guys running a blistering pace right now. Getting away at the front, but really not too far. Someone in 4th is keeping close tabs, and Smith goes down, so Mitchell slides by into the 2 spot, and that is Chapman into 3rd. Smith gets up in 4th. Holm is now 5th. Blakeley 6th. Reed Young 7th. Hubbard 8th. Cohenauer 9th. Tiberino 10th. Shipley 11th. Ritzler 12th. And then finally, Alexis Leclerc in 13th place. But he's going to get a couple more spots. There's somebody down here at the end. Oh, that's Ritzler getting up, and somehow Leclerc doesn't get any sort of real bad collisions from that. Most other people would have definitely gone down, but Leclerc just kind of rides through it. So a couple more positions gained for Leclerc. Oh, doubling into this rhythm, though. Holy send from the outside. Reed Young into the back of Leclerc. Leclerc down again. How did Reed Young ride out of that? What in the world was that? So Leclerc... incidental contact there, and he goes down. So Dickerson coming up from behind now. Leclerc is back into 14th. Yeah, he's going to go into 14th as Ritzler was down in the rhythm. So 14th place for Leclerc, your points leader. A lot of time on the clock, though. But this track does seem to suit most of these guys tonight. Everybody's running a pretty similar pace. We'll have to see what happens. Meanwhile, battle for the lead is brewing. Mullins versus Mitchell. The rivalry continues somewhat. Oh, not for long. Mitchell, 360s, and lands it, but he... Oh, and Mullins is down with the lead. Chapman goes to the front. Just like that. And that should put Mitchell into 2nd. Yes, it does. Mitchell was able to 360 and somehow not fall off the bike. Holm up to 3rd, and Mullins gets going in 4th, right in front of Jeremy Smith. Obviously, there was a little bit of discussion of some conflict between Mullins and Mitchell after Glendale. They raced each other the whole main event, and then apparently a late aggressive pass from Mitchell did not sit well with Mullins. Some arguments were made. No, don't know exactly where their relationship stands now. But we'll see if anything flares up between them if they get together again. Meanwhile, Mitchell is trying to reel in Chapman, who's already starting to pull a lead away. Could it be that Chapman wins every main event he enters, though, so far this season? He is 6 for 6 out west. He's probably going to clinch the championship the next race back, which will be the East-West Shootout in Indy. And right now, he is leading the 450 main event. This is insane. He has looked fantastic and definitely making it look good up front right now. So Mitchell is going to try to close down. Meanwhile, battle for the 4 spot between Blakeley and Smith. Although they look like they could be teammates, they are not. Blakeley on the BPC team. Jeremy Smith for VersusPC FamMX. Different lines again. Let's see if Smith's able to complete that pass with this little better line into the corner. Shows him a wheel, but is very nice. Gives him all the outside room that he could ever ask for there. Still a good battle, though. It's not over yet. And there's a good group of people behind them wanting to get into this mix here. Mullins was doing a good job gaining points, but right now, 7th place isn't going to cut it, especially with Leclerc now up into 10th and still gaining positions. This battle between Smith and Blakeley is a good one, though. They are dicing. Oof. Oh, how did Smith fall there? That was a weird crash. Blakeley went off the track, and Smith just kind of got hung up in the middle of the corner and went down. I think he only lost 1 spot, no, 2 spots, I should say. That was a weird fall-off crash. We got desperately close to our all-time record of view counts for live video just now. I looked over and saw 210 and 70. 210 on YouTube, 70 on Twitch. That's 280. 290 is our record of simultaneous live viewers. So I just want to give a quick thank you to everybody watching this broadcast. You guys are the real MVPs, making it all worth my while streaming these each week. It's good fun. Chapman made a big mistake there, and that's going to allow Mitchell to close up. So a battle for the lead is brewing once again. We are not even halfway. A win for Mitchell tonight, it could be huge. Leclerc's still in 8th. I've got to imagine Leclerc's going to end up somewhere inside of the top 5 before the end of this thing, but if Mitchell can win and Leclerc ends up around 5th or so, that's a huge point swing. He's got to get around Chapman to do it, and he's closing, but he's not quite there yet. Of course, already discussed it, Chapman dominating the 250 West region, wants to come out here and try to win this 450 class in his first race of the year on a 450. Whoa, a little bit of lag for Chapman though. Now it's time for lappers though. They are onto the back of number 65 of Dickerson. So far so good, clean there. Mitchell is keeping things tidy though. Trying to keep an eye in front of these guys to see how many lappers there are actually in front of them. Interestingly enough, we have another teammate battle for the win, although it wasn't really a battle for the win in the 250 main, but those Relaxa Tire guys going 1-2. Now it's ART Racecraft Decals 1-2 in the 450 class. There's a rider down right in front of Chapman. I thought it was going down. Oh, he ended up off the side of the track, did Reed Young. That was on the 54 right there. Mullins up to 3rd. So helping his case for trying to gain points. Oh, Mitchell off the track trying to avoid some lappers. And then gets landed on. Reed Young sends the triple behind him and lands on him. That is not Reed Young's fault. Can't really predict necessarily that Mitchell was going to double right there, right in the middle of the track. It just happened. So that kind of ruins our battle for the lead. But here is Mullins. He is now up into that 3 ride. And I'll take this opportunity to swing back and find Leclerc, who is 8th now, it looks like. 9th, I should say. So let's see what he's doing here. Go on board here for a minute. He's going to get a pass right there, I think. Or, nope, I'm sorry. That was a lapped rider. Leclerc known for his very unique riding techniques, as well as riding in very high gears. You'll see him go through corners and kind of lug the bike, even in the whoops here. Was in 5th, then down to 1st. He shifts a lot. 3rd, 2nd. It's kind of a... I don't want to call him a setup wizard, but he does do some really interesting things that work in the game with his setup. Oh, a little bit of a huck there. Gets it. Gets the triple into this corner. He's going to roll over. And then triple. Wow, triple before the Supercross triple. That's actually a pretty good looking line. I think on-off double would probably be faster, no? I don't know. I'd have to see it comparatively. He's moved up to 8th, so he made a pass somewhere. I didn't see where. Somebody must have went down. So far, not making as many inroads in through the field as I thought. Although he's done a good job to get here, so can't necessarily say that. It looks like it would be very possible for him to at least have a shot at getting to Mullins as this race develops. I mean, we're just past halfway, so we'll see what happens. Chapman cruising out front, though. And coming up next, we're going to do another VersusPC run through the field here. And we'll see how these guys are faring. We'll do it in the whoops this time. So pull away from Chapman. That's your race leader. VersusPC run through the field. Brought to you by the fine folks at VersusPC.com. Check them out. There's Colton Mitchell, the number 6 in second. Then Ritzler and Klein going through the whoops are both a lap down, as is Spencer Turley on the 61. There is third place Mullins on the 9. Fourth place Holm on the number 27. Fifth place is Seabolt. Sixth place is Smith. Seventh is Blakeley on the 13. Here's your points leader Leclerc. He is running in the 8th spot. And we will wait, apparently, for 9th. Who is 9th? I have no idea, actually. It's going to get here just as he scrolls across the top of the screen. That is Devin Ryan. I don't think he's actually 9th. Oh, yes, he is. Devin Ryan in 9th. Good ride for Ryan. 10th for Tiberino. 11th for Hubbard. Man, that is a good ride for Ryan. I feel sorry for saying that. But here is your race leader again, Russ Chapman. That has been a run through the field. Brought to you by the fine folks at VersusPC. Get your PC set up today with them and head over to VersusPC.com. Chapman continues to lead here. Lap number 15. This is going to be a long race. We're only 13 minutes in. These guys are going to go probably like 24, 25-ish laps. So Mitchell continuing to keep tabs on Chapman, but not close enough to do anything about it yet. Looks like we've lost Mullins backwards again. He's catching up to Smith, though, who just made a big mistake. Now Mullins cases the triple. Not too far back of Mullins now is Leclerc, though, and that's not good. So as we'll see, Leclerc, he goes over the table, and then 3 right here. It's a big line. No one else is doing it, but I don't know if it's gaining him time. And now the next person in front of Leclerc is going to be Mullins. And Mullins is trying to work on Blakeley here, but so far he's getting a little hung up. And that's allowing Leclerc to close back in. They got Turley in between him, but Leclerc just coming into the corner in the background there. Mullins on Blakeley. That is the battle on screen, and it is your battle for 6th on the track. They're catching a couple more lapped riders. That's Ritzler right in front of Blakeley there. Everybody's checking up. Oh, Holm just went down with Smith. So all these guys have worked their way backwards into the clutches of Leclerc as Leclerc goes by Smith. Then Leclerc almost goes down. Then he will go down because Smith lands on him, and then Turley gives him an extra nudge, and then Turley somehow goes down. I think front end lock just got him there. So Smith gets up in front of Leclerc, and now Leclerc is going to be riding hard and fast because he's only got 5 more minutes to try to get as far up inside of the top 10 as he can get. He is 8th currently. First up would be to get back around Smith, which he had the pass made, but then Leclerc almost went up and over the bars, and then Smith didn't really understand that Leclerc had, or I mean, I think he understood, but I think he thought Leclerc would get a better drive at the triple. And Leclerc did not get a good drive at all. It was probably going to go down anyway because of how bad he cased it, but was helped there by the fact that Smith gave him a nudge in the air. So we're sticking with this battle right now. Leclerc looking inside, still doing this roll line. I mean, look at, I think he lost a lot of time on Smith there. Yeah, Smith actually pulled away in that section. So Leclerc, it's cool that he's doing something unique. I like to see it change up a little bit, but it seems to me like he's actually losing time doing it. So I'd be curious to see if this lap through, now that he saw what Smith was doing and the time he gained, if he'll change up his line there. He's actually trying to show a wheel on Smith into the corner. He's going to dive down the inside and make that pass, but Smith is trying to fight back down the left side of the whoops, and it's a little better line because he gets to drive through the whoops. Now Leclerc runs him high and gets that pass done. Ooh, Smith, little off kilter coming into the whoops. So Leclerc, he's going to move up into 7th now, I believe, behind Adam Holm. Yes. It's about 8 seconds back of the number 27, who just passed Mullins. So Mullins still hasn't quite figured it out. Blakeley having the best ride of his season so far. He's running in the 4 spot. Siebel, Mitchell, and Chapman. So Chapman's still cruising out front. Take a look at his times. Last time by at a 54.7. His best at a 54 flat. So it looks like he's running good, consistent lap times right now. And no real threat of lappers. He's got 4 lappers to get through that are within the first couple straightaways ahead of him, but they're kind of split up. There's only 2 of them that are together. 7-second lead currently for him, and time up in the top left-hand corner of your screen creeping up to 17.5 minutes. So 2.5 minutes plus a lap to go, and unless he falls, I gotta say Chapman looks pretty good for the win here. Runs a 54.3, so just, again, consistency. The only thing I might say is he's going to start catching some more bad lap traffic towards the end of this race. Just kind of more guys grouped together. Still going outside and 3ing onto this table. Can't believe he gets that. It looks like he's going off the track when he does it. Gap down now to 6.5 or so seconds. So Chapman working his way through lappers. Not really struggling with it, but also not doing it cleanly necessarily. So we'll keep tabs on that. You see Mitchell back here can sense that Chapman's getting into lappers, and this is probably going to be his toughest group right here that he's coming up to. That is, I think, Tyler Fry letting him by on the 76. And inside right there was maybe Tyler Schmidt letting him go. And then, oh, wow, lucky there. Lots of guys down, because that was the group that was going to mess him up. And I can actually see now that the next guy he would lap is actually Alexis Leclerc. So these guys have lapped deep inside of the top 10 already. Mitchell is trying to reel him in, though. Can he do it? There's going to be 2 laps to go next time by. I don't think he has enough time here. It is an ART Racecraft Decals 1, 2, 3 right now, though, which is pretty crazy. Adam Holm, the next guy, in 4th. Mullins is 5th, and Leclerc has moved all the way up to 6th. But again, Mitchell finishing 2nd and Leclerc finishing 6th is really helpful points-wise for Mitchell. That's going to close things down a little bit. And, you know, Leclerc's definitely not out of the woods yet. This is going to be his worst race of the year, his worst finish of the year. But unfortunately for him, that doesn't really help him much championship-wise, that this is his worst race, because Mitchell's been pretty consistent as well. Again, running 2nd here. But they're all chasing Russ Chapman. This main event has made look real easy. It is not easy in this game to be this consistent. It is not easy to be this consistent and go this fast, but all these guys have reached another level, it seems, of speed, consistency, in general knowledge of the game. It's amazing to see these guys ride now. They're so good, so calculated, and I can't believe it, but Chapman is on his way to remaining perfect. 7 races into the season, 7 times Russ Chapman will have won the main event that he entered that night. The only race he didn't win was the 2nd race of the Triple Crown at Anaheim in the 250 class, in which he finished 2nd. Other than that, it has gone 1-1-1, 2, 1, 1-1-1, and now another 1. He is just on a winning streak and a half right now. That's going to help him 250 West-wise build more confidence heading back into the shootout at Indy. But 450-wise, it is another story, because Russ Chapman brings it down, and a huge victory for the number 29 as Russ Chapman is your winner in Dallas. Mitchell goes down in the final corner trying to push up to the back wheel, but fortunately for him, he has got a massive gap over the next rider. So he comes across still in second. Siebel kind of all alone right now. Mullins is the closest within the guys still on the lead lap, because Smith finished 7th, a lap down. And Leclerc able to fight through from a first turn crash and get all the way up to 6th is pretty good. Mullins was trying really hard to get Adam Holm at the line, but ends up coming across in 5th. So he'll actually gain points on Leclerc. It's not all bad, but I'm sure he wished he could have gotten a little bit more out of tonight. And Leclerc's probably just happy to salvage. So cuts are in. Take a look at everything real quick, determine what's going on. Nothing really changed. And your winner is officially Russ Chapman. So that'll do it for us here on Start Your Systems. Huge shout out to VersusPC. Please go to VersusPC.com. Tell them I sent you. Check out the website. Check out the whole 9 yards. Get set up with a PC today. And also Racetech Suspension helping us out on this channel all the time. Racetech.com, the science of suspension. Huge shout out to FamMX Designs as well. Been a supporter of SYS for a couple years. Of course, MotoOption Clothing, title sponsor of the MotoOption Supercross series for the 7th year running. It's absolutely insane. New sponsor this week also was... I'm sorry, Squid Squad. I forgot the name of it, but Squid Squad, a new sponsor on board with the MXS EMF track crew, so good to see them. That's what those vibrant yellow bales on the start were. So good to have them out here helping out as well. And of course, MXS EMF for putting on this whole series, MX Simulator the game, and everybody else involved with putting these live streams together. I'm Kellen Brower, and I thank you guys for tuning in to round number 7 of the MotoOption Supercross series from Dallas. Next week, we'll be back at Atlanta, same time, same place, live here on SYS TV. We hope to see you then, but for now, we're going to say goodnight right here in Dallas. So long, and we'll see you next week.